Joseph Campbell said that all the great myths, the primitive myths, the great stories have to be regenerated if they're going to have any impact, and that you had done that with Star Wars. Are you conscious of doing that?
Well, when I did Star Wars, I consciously set about to recreate myths and the classic mythological motifs. I wanted to use those motifs to deal with issues that existed today.
In the 1930s, in the midst of the Great Depression, Joseph Campbell retired to the woods of New York to dedicate his life to the study of all mythologies and religions of the world. He started to notice recurring themes and patterns, such as that of the hero's journey. He wrote about this in his first book, Hero with a Thousand Faces.
It's possible that if I had run across that, I would still be writing Star Wars today.
Campbell noticed that in traditions all over the world, we find stories of people living ordinary lives who are called to the hero's adventure. They meet mentors who guide them across the threshold and teach them key lessons.
Let go your conscious self and act on instinct. You see? You can do it.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
All right, I'll give it a try.
No! Try not. Do. Or do not. There is no try.
My last mentor probably was Joe
Joseph Campbell.
Campbell, who asked a lot of the interesting questions and exposed me to a lot of things that made me very interested in a lot more of the cosmic questions and the mystery. I put the Force into the movies in order to try to awaken a certain kind of spirituality.
The hero sets off on a road of trials, each one offering a lesson in overcoming their fears, discovering true love, and finding their true self.
Use the Force, Luke.
The final transformation is often symbolized by a literal death of the old self
Let go.
and a rebirth of the new. At which point they attain their ultimate boon, knowledge, peace, power, salvation, and use this boon to heal the world, often by finding a third way that unites dueling forces, or dissolves core conflicts, contradictions, and dualities.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
I'm telling an old myth in a new way. I see Star Wars as taking all of the issues that religion represents and trying to distill them down into a more modern and more easily accessible construct that people can grab onto to accept the fact that there is a greater mystery out there.
I don't believe it.
That is why you fail.
Campbell worried that the wisdom of great traditions was not being heard. He worried that our arguments over whether or not a story is literally true or not led us to miss the way in which such stories could reveal key lessons for our lives. He called on artists to remake the myths in ways that they could speak to our lives today. George Lucas was the first to heed the call.
If it's a tool that can be used to make old stories be new.
Soon after that, a memo started floating around Hollywood. Written by Christopher Vogler, the memo summarized Campbell's work, and soon movies were utilizing the formula.
Of course, Joseph Campbell and his analysis of the hero's journey. We took in all of that as we began to shape the story.
While some think this has made Hollywood too predictable, it has also allowed Hollywood to use one of humankind's most powerful tools, the art of storytelling, to explore the core conflicts, contradictions, and dualities of our time. Take The Matrix, for example. We have an ordinary guy called to adventure. He meets a mentor to help him across the threshold and give him some key lessons.
Come on, stop trying to hit me and hit me.
He goes on a road of trials to overcome his fears.
What is he doing?
He's beginning to believe.
Discover true love, and finds his true self. The final transformation is marked by a death of the old self and rebirth of the new. At which point he receives the ultimate boon, knowledge of what is really going on, and uses this boon to heal the world. The pattern is universal, but the themes are unique. For each time and place has its own unique manifestations of conflict, contradiction, and duality. The Matrix confronts big questions about the relationship of man and machines, while weaving together religious themes from Christianity,
You're my savior, man.
Hinduism,
Karma is a word.
and Buddhism, using the wisdom from these traditions to resolve even bigger questions about fate and free will,
Do you believe in fate, Neo?
choice and cause.
Everything begins with choice.
No, wrong. Choice is an illusion.
How to find meaning and purpose in a world in which meaning and purpose are not givens.
Why do you do it?
Is it freedom or truth? Perhaps peace? Could it be for love? Illusions, Mr. Anderson, vagaries of perception. Temporary constructs of a feeble human intellect trying desperately to justify an existence that is without meaning or purpose. Why, Mr. Anderson? Why? Why do you persist?
Because I choose to.
Neo dies for our sins like a Christ and merges dualities like a Buddha, shining the light of his enlightenment through the darkness of the world. In the Hunger Games, we have an ordinary girl called to adventure, meets a mentor to help her across the threshold.
Our mentor is supposed to tell us how to get sponsors and give us advice.
Embrace the probability of your imminent death.
She goes on a road of trials to overcome her fears,
Trust me.
find true love, and find her true self. The final transformation is marked by a death of the old self and rebirth to the new, at which point she receives the ultimate boon, knowledge of what is really going on.
This is the revolution, and you are the Mockingjay.
The Hunger Games explores how to be authentic and free in a society of illusion and control.
Big smiles for the camera in 3, 2, 1.
The Hunger Games are not just in the arena. Society itself is a game of strategy and deceit. So she has to keep acting to stay alive, but the act is tormenting her.
Tell us what you really think!
Through the trials, she finds her way toward her true self. She makes choices that are not just strategies. She realizes who she truly loves. And at the critical moment,
Remember who the real enemy is.
she takes aim at the game itself. She sees past the dualities of us versus them.
We have no fight. Except the one the Capitol gave us.
And sees the real duality as that between authenticity and strategy.
You're still trying to protect me, real or not real.
In the end, she realizes that one game is simply being replaced by another, and takes one last shot at the game itself. Even a seemingly simple animation like Rango can confront big questions using the power of the hero narrative. Rango is an ordinary lizard called to adventure, meets a mentor that helps him across the threshold,
Follow your shadow.
goes on a road of trials to overcome his fears and find his true self. The final transformation is marked by a death of the old and rebirth of the new, at which point he receives the ultimate boon, knowledge of what is really going on, and uses this knowledge to save the world. Rango is especially interesting because it explicitly plays upon the hero narrative.
I know who I am. I'm the guy, the protagonist, the hero.
And it calls forth some of Campbell's most precious insights.
What are you talking about?
Enlightenment. Help me up, and I will help you find what you see. If you want to find water, you must first find dirt.
Campbell famously said that myths are not just true or false, they are metaphors.
It's a metaphor.
Our job is not to decide if they are true, but to see how they might guide us or bring us together. Rango plays the part of the hero looking for his path,
Who exactly are you?
searching for his true bliss, trying to find his true self.
Who am I? I could be anyone.
He lives a lie, an inauthentic life, and tries to get everyone to believe in him.
So you want something to believe in, Spoons? Believe in me.
But ultimately, he has to face his own lies.
You didn't do any of them things you said, did you?
Who are you?
Who am I? I'm nobody.
But being nobody allows him to move beyond his fear, submit to the world. And he wakes up on the other side of the road,
Excuse me, Mr. Spirit, sir?
where he learns that his struggle to get people to believe in him was misguided.
I don't even know what I'm looking for anymore. I don't even know who I am.
He doesn't have to know who he is.
They used to call you the man with no name.
Doesn't matter what they call you. It's the deeds make the man.
He learns that names and beliefs don't matter.
Need some kind of hero.
Then be a hero.
Oh, no. You don't understand. I'm not even supposed to be here.
That's right. You came a long way to find something that isn't out here. Don't you see? It's not about you. It's about them.
And what do stories do for us in that sense?
But I can't go back.
Don't know that you got a choice, son.
Myths help you to have your own hero's journey.
No man can walk out on his own story.
Find your individuality. That hopefully reminds you that you're part of a whole and that you must also be part of the community.
So you made it. That's right, amigo. The other side of the road.
Everybody has the choice of being a hero or not being a hero every day of their lives.
See that?
We each see what we need to see. Beautiful, isn't it?
And it's not a grand thing. You know, you don't have to get into a giant laser sword fight and blow up 3 spaceships to become a hero. I mean, it's a very small thing that happens every day.
Yeah. It is.
Come, my friend. I want to show you something.
When I first started teaching about the hero's journey, I had this student in my class. He was one of the best students I ever had, but it seemed like life was passing him by. He was really looking for something, but I'm not sure if he knew what it was. In my class, we talked about the hero's journey, that all over the world we have these stories of people called to adventure, they go on a road of trials, and then they emerge transformed. And in the class, there was this girl who really was a hero, who had gone on a road of trials. They were a perfect match. They fell in love. They even raised a kid together. And I thought it was going to be happily ever after. But then a few years later, he wrote to me. After that, he says he just started running. He would run day and night, sometimes up to 20 miles a day. Month after month, he just kept running. He says it was something he couldn't not do. He ran and ran, trying to figure out what went wrong. And then one day, he was running in the park, and he could suddenly see himself, like as if he were outside his own body, looking down on himself. And he saw this guy running through the trials of life. And for the first time, he had a sense of compassion for himself. And he looked down and he said, "My goodness, you're a hero." But not in the sense of, I'm a hero and I'm better than everybody else. More like, there's heroes all around me. And he just started running through the park, seeing heroes everywhere he went. And it was this wisdom and compassion that he says ultimately healed his relationship.
We all have our journeys to make. I will see you on the other side.